Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be checking spark plugs and the coil pack. The reason why I wanted to do this is because I bought the vehicle when there was about 24,000 kilometers. So that is roughly 14,900 miles. And now the vehicle is at 28,000 kilometers. That's about 17,300 or 17,400 miles. So that is the reason why I want to check the spark plugs. I'm sure it's fine. I didn't get a new set of spark plugs. I just want to check and make sure everything is good. And for the spark plugs, I just want to check if there are any kind of weird deposits and just check if the vehicle is running lean or rich. So first thing what we need to do is take the cover off. Now we have the engine cover off. What we're going to be doing is taking 1, 2, 3, 4 spark plug or the coil out. In order to do that, we need to take, so the nuts that I'm talking about are these. One on the top that holds the wire, grounding wire, and then one on the bottom holds the coil pack. So what we're going to be doing is taking I believe this is a 10 mil, so we're going to be using 10 mil with my Milwaukee wrench and take it out. Using power tool is a little bit easier, because if you use power tool, you don't really have to hold on to the nut on the bottom. But if you're just doing with a ratchet, I recommend getting like a needle nose plier or wrench and just hold on to it and take the top part off. So now I have my Milwaukee tool. I'm going to be using this to take the nuts off. Just be careful so you don't lose a nut. And what I like to do is I like to just put the nut on top of the cowl right there. It just makes your life easier when you have to look for them after you're done with everything. So as I mentioned, this is the grounding wire that is just going to come out. Move it to the side, and then we're going to remove 2 more nuts. And now we have those 4 10 mils off. Just take the grounding wire to the side. And now what we're going to be doing is unplugging the plugs or unconnecting the connectors. In order to do that, you will have to get like a pick just like this to make your life easier. What you want to do is go under. There's a little plastic tab that you can feel, and then once you're there, you want to just pull it up, and just like that, this should come out. Something for here. And just like that, all the connectors are disconnected. These are pretty tight to take off. What I recommend is just literally massaging it out. As you heard, this one did unclip, so I'll just have to put it back when I'm putting the connector back. Now I have the connectors off. I'm going to be taking these 4 bolts. This one is the same, it's 10 mil. And now we have all 4 of them out. Just take them out just like this. Put it by the cowl. Make sure you don't lose it, and now what we're going to be doing is just wiggling the plugs and taking them out. I was able to take one out. Now I'm going to be taking all 4 of them out. Make sure if this coil pack came out from this hole, make sure to mark them or just lay it the way you took it out, so you don't put it on the wrong hole or the wrong spark plug. It doesn't really matter, but I just like the way that if I pulled it out of cylinder 1, then I want to put it back into cylinder 1. If I took it out from cylinder 3, I want to put it back into cylinder 3. Only reason why I would change the coil pack around or the spark plugs around is if I have a check engine light and saying misfire or some sort of engine fault that is related to the coil pack or the spark plugs. So there is a special tool that they make, but what I like to do is grab them and then just kind of twist. And as you can hear that popping sound. And I know how people disconnect these connectors on the back. These are just for the solenoids, I believe. But if you don't want to disconnect it, then it's all really your choice. I'm not going to be taking them off, as I find it just comes out the way it's supposed to be without disconnecting those. Last one. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be grabbing the spark plug socket. What I'm going to be using is the 5/8. If it focuses, it looks like it won't. And then just put it in here. And when it's in, just to make sure that it goes in properly. You might have to push it in a little bit for the socket to sit properly. There is a rubber grommet inside the socket. Once it starts being able to come out pretty easily, just take this ratchet off and then just use your hand. It is threaded quite deep, so as you can see, it's still in pretty good shape. Now I'm gonna take spark plug 2, 3, and 4, and just to make sure that everything is still in good condition. Looks like the factory one or the one that's in my vehicle right now is from NGK. Just push it in a little bit until it sits in properly. Well, so far they're not loose, which is a good sign. I'm not 100% sure on the torque for these ones. I'll have to look it up, and once I know, I'll put it on our video. Same thing, they're in pretty good shape. Second one, the third one. I find the 4 cylinders are usually much easier than V6 or V8 that are all-wheel drives. V8's not bad, but especially V6. It's a little bit of pain in the butt. As you can see, this is the cylinder number 3. Spark plug. Oh, top doesn't hurt anything. I think that is it. There. And as you can see, this is the cylinder 4. Looks like it's still in pretty good condition. I'm just gonna wipe the black deposits around and we should be okay to just put it back in. So for torque, there are debates. Apparently on OEM manual it says 30 Newton meters or 22 foot-pounds. In my opinion, for spark plugs, I just like to hand tighten it and then give a little bit more, just a little bit more tightening. You don't have to tighten them too hard. So what I'm gonna do is start putting this spark plugs back in, starting from cylinder 4. Make sure to be careful when you're threading it in so you don't cross thread them. That would be a big problem if you ever do. In my opinion, don't use power tools for this part. And now we start tightening them until it's tight, and then just give a little bit more. Now that one is done. I'm going to be grabbing my cylinder 3 spark plug. Take the ratchet off again and just put it in with your hand, and once you can feel the thread being threaded, just do it as much as you can until you're at the end, and then put your ratchet on. Now ratchet there. Same thing, put it in, go the other way until you can feel the thread like click, and then you can start threading it clockwise. And the last one, now it's threading in. Just use your ratchet to tighten it. And now we're good with spark plugs. I was told to put dielectric grease inside the spark plug boot. The reason why is then it keeps the moisture outside. So I'm going to be starting with boot number 1. As you can see here, I'm just gonna put entire thing and then just push a little bit. And it's about that much. Not much. Now we're going to be installing the coil back. And also what I like to do is just put a little bit of dielectric grease right here and just rub it in. Some people might complain that I'm doing this, but never had a problem. Just helps you when you have to take the connectors off again later. Just makes it a little bit easier and also prevents rust. Just like that. Spark plug, boot, coil pack, and the cylinder 2. Third one. And all of them, I have been putting the dielectric grease on it. Just like that. And now what we're going to be doing is basically reversing everything. We're going to be putting these long bolts into its original spot. In the beginning, make sure that you hand tighten it so it doesn't get cross-threaded. And the fourth one. Make sure you wiggle it a little bit so the bolt actually sits in properly. You don't have to wiggle it if it goes in like properly the first time. Now what we're going to be doing is tightening them. So I think it's easier if you put the middle ones, so the 2 and 3, second and third plug back in first, and then everything kind of lines up. And then you can slowly push all of them in, and then you can click, they'll all click in. And same thing for this, that's in properly now. So now what we're going to be doing is putting this ground wire back on. Before we put it on, I'm going to be just scuffing it with sandpaper and then install it. A lot of time what happens is to have like a surface rust. In my toolbox is 800 or 600 grit. So what I'm going to do is just grab it, make a little bit of scuff on each side. These ground kits or ground wires are prone to fail, so just scuffing them a little bit to get all the surface rust off is a great idea. I know there are some aftermarket grounding kit that you can get. So now we have all the grounding wire back in its place. We're going to find the 4 nuts that's on the cowl. Just hand tighten it in the beginning. And then as I mentioned, you can use a power tool. Just make sure you can control it, or you can just use hand tools. Now everything is back to its original spot. We're going to be putting the engine cover back on, and we should be good that way. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you did like this video, give a like and subscribe to this channel, and I will make sure to bring more useful content such as like installing video or product review and things like that. Thank you so much.